Hi Mew Crew, welcome back to my channel, and today I just wanted to touch upon the recent news about the shortages on the new upcoming set, the English version of Black Bolt and White Flare. Now, as we know, the Japanese version has already been released and it's a unique set and it's got some new things added to it that hasn't been done before in the Pokemon TCG, such as the new rarity of the BWR, and also every single Pokemon is going to be getting an AR or an SAR, or an illustration rare or a special illustration rare. So this does play a factor in it, but I just wanted to touch upon the recent news about the shortages and why that is, and just give you guys a rundown of the situation, because I feel like once again this always happens when a new set has come out recently, ever since pretty much Surgeon Sparks, and I feel like this needs to be touched on, not to create more hype. I do not want to create more hype. I don't think anyone in this hobby wants to create more hype right now, but just to help people understand what the situation is. You can take from it what you'd like, but yeah, just showing the facts and what's going on here. So to start from the beginning, we need to go back to late last year and when the hobby really started to pick up speed. And that was really from Surgeon Sparks, I'd say. And yeah, Surgeon Sparks picked up a lot of new people in the hobby. For whatever reason that was, maybe Pokemon was pushing out more stuff, pushing out the marketing, perhaps, Pokemon Pocket got a few new people on board, people just looking back on the hobby and thinking, oh, this is a good time to enter it. So yeah, that had a massive effect. More people were looking at this hobby and getting into it, which created more demand, more people wanting to buy cards. And then we have an issue of demand is higher than supply, and obviously that creates issues. So the market just skyrocketed. Everything was harder to get, and it was creating a lot of frustration. And then because it was causing frustration, it was causing more FOMO, which is more demand, and it was just spiraling out of control, and it has been ever since, really. So Surgeon Sparks was one part of it, but then we had Prismatic Evolutions, which caused more issues in itself, in that it was a special set, so there wasn't going to be booster boxes. We have booster bundles and ETBs, and we all know what happened with that one. That just went completely crazy. And then given that it was a popular set because of the evolutions, that one just went wild. And then obviously the most recent one we've had is Destined Rivals, which personally I don't think was actually too bad in terms of demand. I think initially people thought it was going to be crazy because of it was Team Rocket, it was really hyped up. But actually I've seen quite a lot of Destined Rivals in my local game stores and like just around. I've actually found it's easier to get than Prismatic Evolutions was straight off the bat. So I don't know, I feel like maybe a lot of people exited the hobby at that point. So maybe it created, an easier way to get it. But, maybe the Pokemon company were anticipating that it was going to be a bit crazy, and maybe the stores were anticipating this. So yeah, with that one, I have found Destined Rivals been slightly easier to get. But me, myself, I haven't actually picked up any Destined Rivals just because, again, it's so much of a burnout. So just seeing here, you can see that over the past 3 months, you can see this is Surgeon Sparks, so you can see Surgeon Sparks booster boxes. You can see that the demand for it has gone way down, so quite a lot here, going from sort of like around the $250 mark to down to $218. It has bumped back up again, but you can see as product became more available, then yeah, it's going back up. And obviously people are focusing more on other products. Like Surgeon Sparks feels like a bit of a distant memory, even though it was like 6 months ago. And then if you look at the Prismatic Evolutions booster bundles as well, the same thing has happened here, where we're looking at the sort of $80 mark, and then that's gone down as well to not loads, but the $60 mark. So yeah, it's definitely, you can definitely see it cooling off a bit. So yeah, that's always extremely helpful, but it's still it's still over what it should be, which is a big problem. But it's definitely cooled down. Everyone's sort of looking to newer sets, and obviously Destined Rivals is the newest set, so Prismatic took a sideline. People are still looking at Prismatic Evolution, still trying to get hold of product, but it's definitely cooled off a bit, which is expected. It's like newer sets are going to take priority. There's going to be a lot of hype, and yeah, I feel like every set that's come out, there's been something about it that's been really enticing. So obviously Prismatic Evolution's been the evolution side of things. It's the next one since Evolving Skies. We've had Destined Rivals, been longly anticipated because it's a Team Rocket set, and now we've had the release of Black Bolt and White Flare, and knowing what we know about that one, it's got some new things about it that are really exciting. Like, I really like these BWR rarity type. I think the cards look amazing. They're very, very minimalistic, very basic, but they do look very good. And then the aspect that we're going to get an illustration rare or a special illustration rare of every single Unova Pokemon is incredibly exciting. It sort of feels like however many packs you open, you're going to get something exciting in there. So even though there's cards that you might not like, you're still going to get something like really good. So there's that part of it, and there's more exciting cards. So I feel like that's a massive aspect. Now, because of that aspect, it also creates incredible hype, because if I do wonder if we didn't get that part of this new part of Black Bolt White Flare, would this set be as popular? Because I do think this part of it makes it incredibly exciting. Like, the thought of being able to get all these, like a collection of all these cards sounds really, it sounds like a collector's biggest dream, but also worst nightmare. I would love to do a master set of this one, because it would be really fun to collect, but an absolute nightmare at the same time. So yeah, I feel like this set has been hyped up because of this aspect. And the Unova Pokemon are really cool. I do like a lot of them. I do also hate a lot of them as well, but personally I love Zekrom, and the Zekrom special illustration rare just looks incredible. I absolutely want to get my hands on that one. The Reshiram one, if I have it, amazing, but I would rather have the Zekrom card. So just looking at what PokeBeach has released about some news about the product, you may have already seen this. So they are currently printing more Black Bolt and White Flare products. They'll be sold in Japan starting from mid-July to August and thereafter. The company states that regardless of when they make public announcements, they are always working to print more of the products their customers want, are continuously strengthening their products. Indeed, as we posted in March, they printed new stock of older sets without any public announcements. So the problem we are having with the newer sets is that because of the demand of the older sets like Prismatic Evolutions, Destined Rivals, and even Surging Sparks, they're reprinting these older sets. So therefore the newer sets suffer, and it's almost like, well, what takes priority here? Because people are complaining in the time that they want more of the product, they want more Prismatic Evolution, want more Destined Rivals, but then when newer sets come out, they're like, well, we want more of this as well. But it's like, the way I see it is the Pokemon Company have, a massive printing, manufacturing warehouse, and they can only print so much at a time. So they have to allocate what the printers are going to print. Do they go full in with the new stuff and just go, well, we're just going to have to leave the old stuff in the dirt and just print all new stuff so that everyone has that? But then people are going to be annoyed that they can't get their hands on old stuff. So there's that problem. So I kind of get it, but it's also incredibly frustrating. And a lot of people have said, well, why can't the Pokemon Company just, get more printers on it, get more? And I get that. I do. Like, the Pokemon Company is one of the biggest franchises in the world. Like, of course they have the money to do that, but I suppose it's the logistics. It's not as easy to do that. You need new warehouses, more equipment, more staff, all of that. That takes time. That doesn't just happen overnight. Now, this isn't me, I'm trying to be as neutral as possible with this. This isn't me backing up the Pokemon Company. It's kind of just trying to explain why it could be an issue. Now, there are arguments of that is the case, but there's also arguments of the Pokemon Company are strategically making it harder to get more stuff, making it more scarce, because it keeps it expensive, it keeps it coming off the shelves. There's nothing left sat on the shelves for them, so they're making money. There is that argument, and that's a fair point. We cannot know for absolute surety, but I do think there is this aspect of there's sets being printed every, at the moment it seems to be every couple of months. There's more stuff coming out, and there's not enough time to meet the demand. So every time a new set comes out, they need to allocate some supply to the stores, but there's just not enough. There's just not enough, and allocating stuff from previous sets that people haven't been able to get hold of. So yeah, there's that as well. So it creates an incredibly difficult situation. I haven't picked up any Destined Rivals. I thought I would, but I think I just got incredibly burnt out. I think a lot of people did. But I've got this new Spark of Hope with Black Bolt and White Flare. It looks like a really fun set, and again, something I probably won't fully collect because it makes it really difficult that it's two sets combined into one, and obviously some of the illustration and special illustration rares will be from one set, some of the other, so you kind of need to buy both to actually complete the set. So yeah, it makes it very difficult, but I do like a lot of the cards, and there are so many amazing looking cards in this one. And I know we all say that in every single set, but because this one has so many illustration rares and special illustration rares, it does make it a lot of fun. So on top of that, we also have, you know, future sets coming out on top of that, which again creates problems. It's like a win-lose situation. Like, it's obviously great to look forward to new sets and new things that they'll be introducing, but it also, again, can't keep up with the demand, and people always want the new stuff and what's being hyped up. And obviously the release of the Mega Revolution set, which we have the rumor of the Mega Greninja, which is really exciting. We've got the Mega Lucario, the Mega Gardevoir, so this will be really exciting, and this will be released around the same time as the Pokemon Legends game, so it will be tying into one. So, you know, Pokemon playing their cards right, no pun intended, in that they will be trying to create hype around it and create a buzz, both for the TCG and the game that will be coming out on the Switch too. So yeah, this is all marketing strategy, so I get that, but also, you know, with all the YouTube channels, including my own, I don't want to create super amounts of hype because it doesn't benefit anyone, but it's just creating awareness, creating, you know, some, you know, putting some knowledge down there, putting the facts down and what is going to happen. And, you know, we've seen it time and time again. And I do feel like lately there's been massive burnout of the Pokemon TCG, myself included. Like, a lot of people have been, you know, leaving the hobby, even just temporarily, some people just completely. And yeah, that's for good reason, because it's just so hard to get hold of products. So in this one, we can see here that the set will be based on Japan's Mega Brave and Mega Symphonia. It releases on August the 1st, or 2 months earlier. We still don't know the full name of this one yet, the English version of it, which will release on September 26th. So yeah, this allows for more breathing room as we're getting Black Bolt and White Flare on July 18th. But they have informed us that the pre-release cat allocations may be lower than usual due to continuing product shortages. So they are acknowledging that. They're very aware of that. We're all very aware of that, but they're obviously, you know, solidifying that they can't keep up with demand, and especially because they've already got these newer sets coming out, then it's just reiterating that there is going to be shortages and everyone will need to prepare for that. So that was just an insight of what's going on at the moment, particularly because we don't have Black Bolt or White Flare yet, but we do know a lot of the information, like what the cards are, and it's out in Japan. So it makes it very difficult, but it's good to have that knowledge. And unfortunately, it's not good news in that sense that there will be shortages. It's to be expected, but yeah, if there was any glimmer of hope, I'm afraid it's still going to be short printed. And yeah, obviously Prismatic, Surging Sparks, and eventually I can guess Destined Rivals probably will be reprinted as well, just so that people can get their hands on it for people who didn't when, you know, the start of these sets. So I think it's a fair point, and it's just something that should be touched upon, because yeah, there can only be one route really. You could either just go ahead and print the new set and forget about the old ones, but then obviously displease a lot of people who wanted to get their hands on Prismatic and Destined Rivals, or they do what they're doing, which is, you know, the newer sets get shortages because they're trying to keep up with reprints of the older sets. So I hope this video has helped you guys understand what's going on lately and just putting the facts down. No hype creating, no, you know, misinformation, just going by what Poker Beach has said and what has been happening, you know, the facts and stuff. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you do like it, don't forget to give it a like and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next video.